I Kill Giants is adapted from the graphic novel. This is a movie that is steeped in fantasy world but based within real life trauma as well. We have Madison Wolfe, who plays Barbara, the lead character here, who is struggling to deal with the world and retreats into a fantasy world where she feels that she is protecting her coastal town from large giants that are coming to destroy the place. She has this whole mythos built up in her head. She keeps it in a notebook. She is an outcast at school. She walks about wearing these bunny ears. She is often the outsider and deliberately makes herself that way. She antagonises people to make them take a step back from her. Her sister, played by Imogen Poots, seems to be trying to run the household and struggling to cope with Barbara and their brother as well, and make sure everything is ticking over while still trying to lead a life at the same time. Then we have Zoe Saldana, who is the guidance teacher at school, and she has lots of interactions with Barbara, trying to figure out just what's going on, what her social life is like, what she does outside of school, and it all comes together in this really emotional tale that I wasn't expecting it to be as emotional as it starts out to be. Because you get these elements of fantasy shot throughout it, with the tales of the titans and the giants, and then the movie slowly builds up by creating this fantastically staged atmosphere with these perfectly made creepy shots and shadows to start off with of giants moving in the darkness around about this town. You get to see all of Barbara's traps as she has set them up to lure the giants away, and then you get to see some of the destruction that they've caused. This could be caused by real life events, but she points out to be the effects of the giants. And we get to see a lot of her inner thoughts through the new character of Sophia, who is just new to this town. She makes friends with Barbara because she has no other friends, and she gets drawn into this fantasy world that Barbara has, and she explains all the facets of it and how it works to her, and kind of drags her along and uses her as a codependence to facilitate her daydreams. I really liked I Kill Giants. I thought it was a pretty good movie, one that caught me off guard a little bit by some of the way it perceived things, and it gets to a movie where it's got a twist at the end that you don't really see coming. It's expertly shot. There is some fantastically spooky imagery, some atmospheric shots going along here, and you get some really strong sense of fantasy sequence near the end as well, where Barbara is dueling with titans and giants, and it is unsure of what exactly is happening. It is exciting, it is tense, and when you get to the climax of the movie you kind of understand what everything was about, and it's really worthwhile. I'm skirting round the edges here because I don't want to give away the main plot points of the movie, which I feel need to be discovered yourself through checking this thing out. I think this is a fantastic movie, one that I didn't hear anything about until a few weeks ago. This movie has a wealth of actors in it as well, and they're all doing really stellar work in this tale that balances drama with extreme fantasy really well, while still keeping an emotional core to the movie. You become invested in Barbara. You start to attune to her way of thinking and see all the little things that she has all over this town that relate to her fantasy world. And when people try to talk to her, it keeps things in the darkness, and it keeps them there for a very good reason, and it lets you climatise with Barbara and what she's thinking, what she's doing, before hitting you with a sucker punch later on. I think I Kill Giants is a marvellous movie. It's not completely there. There is some things that maybe drag it down a little bit, but I think they could be fixed in later viewings of this movie. I don't know how it holds up to the source material because I never read the graphic novel, but you know, from what I can hear, from what the chatter is, it sticks to it pretty well. I Kill Giants is out in the cinema on the 6th of April, and I suggest checking it out if you can find it. I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. Try to go into it knowing as little as possible if you can, and I think you're going to love it as much as I did. I gave I Kill Giants 4 out of 5, and I've got a funny feeling that that's going to rise up on a repeat watching. I'd love to know what you thought of the movie. I'd love to know what you thought of the graphic novel if you've read it. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man vs Film.